actually got on meals delivered on Christmas Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 3 of them. One is north of Marion, one north of Lyons, almost to the lake.
Oh, okay.
I took so many back roads, I couldn't believe it.
I know that.
And
Okay, I've got 7 o'clock, and this is the December 28th, our last town board meeting for 2021. We have no public hearings tonight, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. And Honorable Judge Lou, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the town board meeting of December 14th.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Steve. Comments, questions, changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So at this point in time, we'll take care of the swearing in ceremony for individuals that were elected in November. Judge John Gagora had another engagement tonight, so wasn't able to be here, but we sworn it. Michelle sworn in yesterday. So Judge Lou, I think you've got some other business you want to take care of before we do some swearing in, correct?
I do, and then we can take John's time for this. I wanted to make the board aware that the court received a pleasant piece of correspondence last month, and I'd like everybody to know that town courts get a reputation. A lot of people think the reputation comes from the judges. While we're talking here, a lot of people think the reputation comes from the judges, but it doesn't. It really comes from the clerks, who are always the people in contact with our customers, the folks who call in, the folks who are in law enforcement, and certainly the people who are dealing with the court. They're not always in the best moods when you're talking to them anyway. Unfortunately, Farmington has an excellent reputation, and that is based on the 2 great court clerks we have, Marla Schuler and Tracy Curry, who happen to be sitting in the front row. And Tracy's reached a nice milestone in her court clerk career. She's reached her 10th anniversary as a court clerk. And I'm really pleased to let you know that she received a recognition from the New York State Association of Magistrates Court Clerks. So Tracy, come on up if you would. I'd like to present this to you. And then I know Peter has some additional recognition to present to you. The New York State Association of Magistrates Court Clerks presents a certificate in honor and recognition of your 10 years of service for your selfless acts of time and dedication to the position of court clerk in the Farmington Town Court, County of Ontario, signed by President J. Curtis. And I certainly want to add my great thanks. You know how much I appreciate you for all that you do for us. So congratulations. Thank you so much.
I followed the road up the hill. The town is named after Tracy. It's called Town of Curry.
And Tracy, this is your certificate of appreciation for myself and the employees of the town for your 10 years outstanding, and you have your award gift certificate in there to order something. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to
Yeah.
have John sworn in.
Yeah, I love it.
Almost wasn't.
Thank you.
This time, next person on the list is our town clerk, Michelle Finley.
We can do these one by one?
Sure.
Oh, whatever you want. That's good. I'm good with that. You're good with that. Oh, if I don't remember it by now, I'll know it. Remember it by the end of the swearing in for sure. Hi there, guys. Congratulations. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
Michelle Finley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of
of the office of the town clerk
to the very best of my
to
ability,
the very best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Very proud. Congratulations.
Highway Superintendent, Andrew.
All right, please repeat after me.
I, Don Sheryl,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States.
to support the Constitution
I haven't,
of
I
the
just
United
tried to write.
States,
The Constitution of the United States, to support the Constitution of the State of New York,
to support the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that you will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the
of
duties
the office of,
of the office of Highway Superintendent
to the very best of your ability,
to the very best of my abilities,
so help you God.
so help me God.
Always good, always good, too.
And Councilman Mike yourself.
Ready?
Eyes are ready.
All right.
We can do this. We can do it. Now give me a minute.
You're just gonna,
Two downstairs. Don't put them together.
you can't cope with your. You're gonna have to say most of it. I, and state your full name so that I don't have to.
I, Michael J. Casal,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of town council
of the office of town councilman
to the very best of my ability,
to the very best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Look at that. I, Steve Holt,
I, Steve Holtz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of town council
of the office of town councilman
to the very best of my ability,
to the very best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Let's proceed. I
I, Peter Inglesby,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of town supervisor
of the office of town supervisor
to the very best of my ability,
to the very best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Anybody else? It's an opportunity. You want to take a job, we'll give you a note at this point. I did want to say that, first, I want to thank everyone who let me swear them in. It's an honor for me, and I mean that sincerely. Secondly, it's no accident that everybody that I just swore in was elected without opposition in the town. There are a group of people out there trying to offer choices to the voters. And the voters made a very loud and clear statement about the people that I just swore in. Nobody ran against them. Nobody. And why is that? It's because they work hard and they do a really good job for our community. And I think that's a tremendous statement. It's an honor for me to work with all of you. And then the last thing I'll say before I will give up the stage, I'm in my political window, so I have to talk a little. And sincerely and seriously, the last thing I want to say is from John and I, how grateful we are for all of your support, highway folks, clerk's office, everyone, board especially, of course, for the cooperation the court gets from all of us. Whenever we need your help, we get it, all the time. And it's a wonderful thing. And that doesn't happen everywhere in our county or in our state. And John and I really appreciate it. So thank you. And I will sign the paperwork now. I won't come do this.
As chairman of the
Oh.
Republican Committee, I am so proud of all of you. You do a wonderful job. We are rated the highest, best town in the county.
Tracy and Judge Lou, I do have a little announcement for you. Today, the contract was signed by the county administrator. So we have a contract in place for law enforcement at your court proceedings on Mondays.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. That's another great example of the help we're getting from the board. Really appreciate it. That's outstanding. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, we got some new guests here.
Daddy Holmes, he's waiting.
Swear to begin this way, see it? Privilege of the floor, any comments, privilege of the floor? Anybody online?
I don't, the only one you got online is Jeff.
Okay. Well, if they don't hear anything, privilege of the floor, public concerns? Reports of standing committee, public works.
Yeah, on the wastewater treatment side of things, at the plant, MRB still working on some design changes to our Wangham Road pump station. We did receive new flow meters that have been ordered, arrived today. So they'll be getting out to measure flows in the system here in the next couple of weeks. They are working on trickling filter 1, just quarterly maintenance, flushing of that. Wet well cleaning, we've been discussing, it's just ongoing as time permits. And also working on digester 1. Pump station 1 has been giving us some issues. There's a check valve issue. That's the pump station out in front of Finger Lakes Skating and Racetrack. We'll be working on repairing a check valve on that. And also just kind of end of the year inventory and ordering parts just for annual maintenance that's needed out in the system. Still working on redesign of some old water main replacement on Route 332. And also some more discussion. We had the sewer main replacement on Colette Road. It was done by a contractor. We were looking to have a little bit more work done. But it was decided that Rob and his guys are going to do that in-house instead of having a contractor do that. He's also ordered a new F450, and luckily was able to get a crane ordered before a pretty significant price increase the first of the year. And they also had to work on a fire hydrant on Bowerman Road across from Green Road since our last meeting. On the highway and parks, a lot of brush cleanup. We've had a lot of wind incidents in the last couple months, so ongoing just brush cleanup, making sure trees are safe. We did do some installing of light poles and cameras at Farmbrook and both Pumpkin Hook Park, as well as putting up signage to let people know that those parks are now under surveillance. Plowing, salting when needed, ongoing maintenance. On the park side, kind of more of the same, salting, mower maintenance. Don and his guys do a good job of going through the mowers in the fall. So when it's time to use them in the spring, they don't have issues that put them further behind schedule. Cleaning up in the park shop. With the Auburn Trail comes a lot of maintenance, especially with the wind. So the guys have been walking that to make sure there's no hanging branches that are a safety issue to the community. Carpet cleaning was completed here at the town hall. On the building side of things, also been working on a boiler issue with the highway department. And we also discussed just the schedule for the transfer station for 2022, which will really look pretty much like it has been for the last, as long as I can remember. Nothing's really changing, but we just kind of had a quick conversation on that. And he's got 4 resolutions on the agenda, and we can discuss those as they come up later.
Is the town operations?
Town operations, at this morning, we have 5 resolutions. We'll go over them when they come up. Comprehensive plan final draft is posted on the website. It was sent to the county planning for review, recommendation, and on January 25th, we'll have the public hearing scheduled. The sole local law amendment was also sent to the county planning for review, recommendation. That's also scheduled for public hearing on the 25th of January. The Board of Supervisors appointed Edward Ted Liddell to the Ontario County Planning Board. He does live here in Farmington on Andrew Drive. He's an architect employed by Bergman Associates and does have experience in working projects in the county. So it should be a good fit. The rest of the town operations report is posted today on the website. Start with that.
Thank you, Mike. Reports of other town officials, supervisor. They're leaving my list longer than normal. Our Brickyard Road water tank and transmission line bids came in very high. We're now looking at financing $8 million versus $4 million when it was originally planned in 2017. The vendors indicate that the steel prices will go up again early in 2022. So a rebid between our engineers and a discussion with the town public works staff. And rebid is probably out of the question. The wastewater treatment plant, we had digester bids last week that were much better. And we're hoping to award those contracts on January 11th. Tonight we have a resolution to hire 3 more people for the water and sewer department. 2 wastewater maintenance assistants and a MEO position. We're still looking for a grade 4 plant operator. We still have a clerk vacancy in the building department and our assessor vacancy. Last Tuesday, I attended a forum on PTSD and how New York State can make it a priority to help veterans and first responders. Thanks to Assemblyman Gallahan for setting that meeting up. He had 7 other assembly people in that meeting to listen to first responders and veterans of what they thought could be needed to get New York State behind some programs to help individuals with PTSD. And lastly, I still serve on Ontario County in Public Works and Ways and Means, and an additional committee with the 209th Investigation Committee, which meets this Thursday, and we continue to try and meet every 2 weeks. I also gave to the town clerk and passed out to the board and some of the staff December 26th Daily Messenger and recent home sale in there. I looked up the assessment or the full market value, whichever was higher, and give you some comparisons around town. 6130 Hannibal Road, 242,000 sale price. The full assessment, 157,400. Canal Road, 220,000. Assessed value of 145. County Road 41, a duplex, 240,000. Assessed full market value at 167,500. 1188 Belmont Drive, 290,000. Assessed value 211,500. Colony Drive, 286,000. Assessed value for market value 208,000. Squire Lane, 320,000. 218,000 assessed for full market. 831 Sheldon Road, that's a corner lot. I think it's Maxwell is on the corner there. 310,000 sale price. That was assessed at 175. 106 Creekside Drive. Anybody know the Potter family? They sold 245,000. Assessed at 159.3. 1731 Elmwood Circle, Farmbrook, 240,000. Assessed at 147, 158. And 199 Bittersweet Drive, up at the Hook, 290,000. That lot's like 2 or 3 lots from Pumpkin Oak Park. It was sold for 290,000. It was assessed at 188. 200. So I also, our newsletter that's due out any day now, I also put in there some sale prices from the October-November timeframe. And it's the same as what was in the paper here this past weekend. you can't buy homes under 200,000, so they're paying 200,000 and for homes. So look out, your assessment values come up. That's all I have, highway and parks.
I don't have a lot to add on the Steve report tonight, other than just a couple of points. Every 2 weeks I put in here, equipment maintenance and stuff on this vehicles. I'm pretty stringent on the equipment maintenance in the shop. And over the last couple of weeks, things such as a chain in truck 12, and this is what the guys doing their morning inspections and going through these trucks. They found a chain bearing that was bad that would have taken this truck out of service on a day when it was out plowing and when you really need it. Because right now with the amount of roads we have and the trucks that we have, we got to keep all these things on the road. So the maintenance is a very important part. Just today, for instance, I had 2 trucks that had check engine lights on. I sent both of these trucks to the city. They turned out to be small things, got back quickly. That said, it don't sound like a lot with a check engine light. You get them on your car sometimes and they don't mean a lot. But the thing with these big trucks, you get a check engine light and you have a very short time period before they start to derate. And if they derate in the middle of a snowstorm, I have seen instances where we've had to send a loader out and drag them home. So, maintenance, we stay on top of pretty well. Scheduling right now with my guys, they're mostly using vacation up this week. Last week, we carry a pretty ambitious schedule in both the highway and the park all summer long. And I just have to set out kudos to my staff at both departments. Those guys are real good about being there. They put vacations off till the end of the year when we're starting to do this catch-up stuff, just to make sure that that we're fully staffed in the summer and we've got paving going on parks. So I just want to send out a kudos to all of my staff tonight. That's it for me.
Thank you, Don. Town clerk.
Yes, I picked up the taxes today finally. There's little issues, the county with printing them, not just with our towns, a couple other towns too, but, so they ran them today and I picked them up this morning. So that's what we're busy doing right now, is going out banks and stuff for everybody else. So hopefully it'll come out Thursday. That's it.
This is the time of year. Water and sewer, Robin.
I want to say a little bit more about the replacement of the water line on 332. We're talking about replacing all the way from County Road 41 all the way up to KFC. Put our heads together with MRB and come up with a different route to put this. It'll be much cheaper. Most all that water line that's in there now is in wetland. And in order to work in wetlands, it's very expensive. So we're going to get that done.
Good. Let's see the one. Planning board.
Sure. Next meeting is the,
Just skip right over that.
that's okay.
Building and zoning, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Hey, I usually get me, so.
He's on vacation, he's not supposed to be here.
So are you going or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
All right, so
Stay with you.
just program. Like Don said, I want to give kudos to my guys as well. They don't take off a lot of time during the summer, so being our busier season. And I'm also very short staffed this week and last week, trying to use up some time. I also want to give a quick update to the board. We do have staff coming over from the Ontario County Water and Soil on January 11th to follow up on the Phillips Landing. I know Don and his crew has been out there and has done a tremendous amount of maintenance and working on the ponds. They're going to come out along Fraser Way to look at the wetlands and come up with some ideas of what we might be able to do, give us a report for that. So.
Good, glad you're available.
Okay, January 5th will be our first meeting of the year. We've got the final site plan for the Palanga residence to be built, and then the final site plan also for the credit union over at the corner of 332, or right next to Burger King. We have that, and then we have the final site plan amendment for RG&E. And then we will be talking about the M3 Enterprise incentive zoning modification that they are requesting. So that's the meeting.
All right, great. Ron, Director of Planning and Development.
Okay, well, first of all, it's been a long overdue process caused by COVID and court cases and all kinds of interruptions along the way to get to the point where this final draft of the comprehensive plan update has been released and posted on the town website, all 275 pages. I want to thank the volunteers and town staff from the update committee that spent a lot of time over the past 2 years with me, conducting surveys of town residents with over 500 responses, updating maps, updating information about development that's occurred here in the town. And fortunately, with the delay comes good news. The census information was released and it's included in here. And right now, Farmington is the largest municipality in the county. If you count Victor with the village of Victor, then we're second. But if you don't, then we're ahead of Victor, and they didn't even see us go by. The other thing is the solar local law has been sent to the county, as Mike said. As a result of the court case, we had the opportunity to go into the weeds and address issues there. We think we have something that stands out, that we're trying to protect farmland in a unique way. And we hope that that gets the blessing and approval from the county for our meeting coming up in January. Finally, the town office report was posted today on the town website, and we will be looking forward to new applications, which are out there on the horizon, coming in 2022. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. And we had a new picture in your report from Beaver Creek Park showing some of our herd of deer show up there from time to time.
Well, not only does it show up the deer, but it testifies testimony to the quality of the security cameras that are out there.
And the grass.
Yeah. They didn't want to play basketball. It looked like they didn't afford them in.
No, they got COVID-19, it's sick.
Yeah.
I have seen them walking across the parking lots in the park to get one grass mound to the other. Yeah, I haven't seen one in the basketball park. Town engineers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple quick things, just been working on Wagon Road Pump Station and Route 96, 332 water main replacement at that intersection. We should hopefully soon have approval on that and have those two projects progressing into construction here this next month. So they've been taking a little bit, but we should be close there. Steve mentioned digester cleaning. We did take bids on that. We got pretty good bids, so we'll be progressing that project this upcoming winter, spring. And then just to reiterate for the board, we did take bids on the Brickyard Road tank, as Pete mentioned, on December 14th. Since that time, MRB has spent the last couple of weeks doing some bid evaluation, reaching out. We found some comparative bids in the Northeast for tanks of similar size. And again, just to reiterate, yeah, it does appear that, you know, pricing has escalated significantly in the last year to 2 years, especially for steel and concrete. So at this point, based on these evaluations that we've done, it does not appear that rebid would be, you know, would be a risk, I should say, for the town. So we are working with BPD right now on the financials. We did send some correspondences to Public Works today in that regard relative to the research that's been done. And we'll be discussing in the next week or so, you know, proceeding with the project and what that means from a financial perspective. So I don't know if there's any other questions on that project.
Well, we've been working on it since what, 2017?
Yeah, the cost estimate was for 2000, yeah, it was 2017 when it started. And the cost estimate was for 2019, but it's been a long road so far, so.
All right, thanks, Bill. No assessor report tonight, nothing from recreation. Finance committee, the only thing I'll mention is that the town board is gonna go into executive session tonight and look at wages, non-union wages for the other employees in the town. There's a resolution tonight to approve the water and sewer union agreement. And that'll take care of them for 3 years contract with their wages. Our next meeting is January 4th, which is the organizational meeting here in this room at 3:30 in the afternoon. It's a round robin deal that goes pretty fast. And then after that, be our regular meeting on January 11th. Communications are on file. Reports and minutes are on file. And we'll start with the resolutions. We've got quite a few tonight. First one's a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a contract with Williamson Law Book Company for 2022 at cost not to exceed $1,188.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Number 2 is a resolution authorizing acceptance of stormwater maintenance agreement affecting Creekwood townhomes and requires a roll call vote.
Second.
Motion by Nate, second by Ron.
Supervisor Greenfield,
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman.
Aye.
Councilman Harity.
Aye.
Councilman Casale.
Aye.
Councilman Holst.
Aye.
Passes. Thank you. Resolution 3 is waiving the park reservation fees for AMVET's post 332 for various dates in 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You're welcome. Number 4 is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a quote with terracotta rubber mulch for Miracle Recreation equipment at cost not to exceed $11,000.
So moved. Second.
And this is, again, a New York State contract to purchase the rubber mulch. And which park is this one going in?
Potentially.
Retention, okay. Underneath the swings.
I had a plan for that.
Yeah. All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
5 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of updated AED machines and pads for town buildings at a cost not to exceed $6,000.
So moved. Second.
Again, a few years ago, we made sure we added AED systems to all our buildings, and we have a couple of floater systems with our employees, and then one with our recreation director in the summertime for our 6-week program. All in favor? Aye. 6 is a resolution authorizing carry over of 8 hours of vacation time in 2022 for Sarah Suniga and 3.5 hours of vacation time in 2022 for Jennifer Bedell.
So, second.
Motion to second. All in favor?
Aye.
7 is a confirming resolution authorizing an added stop sign in Auburn Meadows at the intersection of Member Drive and Armory Drive, Hayden Drive, to create a 3-way stop.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. All in favor?
Aye.
8 is a resolution supporting the town grant application for New York State Archives Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund Program in the amount of $25,822.50.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. And this is mostly for the building department, right? This one in the next resolution?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
9 is the same resolution supporting a grant application for records management in the amount of $44,660.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. All in favor?
Aye.
That was, we had to split that.
Yep.
That was-
So, New York State. Asked us for it. Resolution establishing the penalty date for all unpaid 2021 fourth quarter accounts located in the Canada Farmington Water District and the Vickers Sewer District.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. 11 is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign an agreement with the Victor Farmington Volunteer Ambulance Corps.
So. Second.
Motion and a second. We've been working with Victor Ambulance Corps ourselves in the town of Victor for almost a full year. And so this gives, from Farmington, it gives the ambulance corps $150,000 as part of the budget. All in favor? Aye. Calls a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign the New York State DEC consent order.
So moved.
Second.
Again, this is part of a consent order that's shared with the town of Victor sewer system. All in favor? Aye. 13 is a resolution change order GC03 for MRI contractors for Beaver Creek Park site work.
So. Second.
Motion a second. It still leaves 75,000 in there for next year's work.
It's a decrease, which is always.
Right. Good. All in favor?
Aye.
14 is a resolution authorizing the establishment of the Route 33296 water capital project.
So. Second.
Again, we didn't able to get this work done in 2021, so Janine has set up a capital project to move the money into there for 2022. All in favor? Aye. 15 is a resolution updating the estimated tax rate summary, which will be collected in the 2022 tax bills. So, motion and a second. Again, after sending our information to Ontario County, they come back with a couple of small changes. All in favor? Aye. 16 is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign the union contract for water and sewer employees represented by International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 118.
So. Second.
Again, this was a 3-year contract that expires at the end of this year, so this renews it for another 3 years. All in favor? Aye. 17 is secret resolution accepting parts 1, 2, and 3 of the full environmental assessment forms for the adoption of the 2021 edition of the Town of Farmington Comprehensive Plan.
So.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's parts 1 and 2.
Good.
Let me scratch 3 on there.
No, you got part 3. You just can't act on it.
Right, we're acting on 1 and 2. And 18, resolution authorizing the rollover of 8 hours of vacation time in 2022 for Sheryl Smith and 40 hours of vacation time in 2022 for Jane Corbin.
So moved.
Second. That's both of them are in the water and sewer department. All in favor? Aye.
19 through 22. Yes, 22.
19 to 22. Any objections for blocking 19 to 22? Again, that's year-end movement of money to continue to pay the known bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nate Monk. 2023, or number 23, resolution classifying under the provisions of Article 8 of the New York State Environmental Conservation Law, Part 617.5 of the State Environmental Quality Review Regulation, the action involved in the adoption of local law, amending Chapter 165 zoning law, Article 2, terminology and definitions, Article 4, district regulations, Article 6, special permit uses, Article 8, administration and enforcement, directing the submission of a final draft of said local law dated December 28, 2021 to the Ontario County Planning Board for review and recommendations under the provisions of New York State general municipal law and schedule a public hearing upon this draft local law to be held on January 25th.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Yeah. Item 24 is the abstract to pay the bills for 2021. General fund, $87,688.42. Highway fund, $40,985.15. Beaver Creek Park, $70,151.85. Fuel station capital project, $425. Water tank repair, $12,817. Town line capital project, $15,686.83. Storm drainage, $8,212.39. Lighting district, $2,584.63. Sewer district, $100,455.38. Water district, $26,949.36. Payroll deductions, $7,236.74. For a total abstract, $373,192.75. Do I have a motion, please? So, second. Motion by Nate, second by Steve. Comments, questions, any abstentions? All in favor? Aye. With no training under $100, there is a discussion item late this afternoon. I was made aware of Craig and Dana Atwood over on Shortsville Road. She brought me in, they had a $8.30 penalty. The October bill was rolled to taxes. And she actually brought in the envelope and I made a copy of it. That I'm sharing with you, pass it back down through here. The post office, the yellow sticker at the bottom said November 5th. So even though that was mailed out probably the last week of September and the first week of October, the post office didn't stamp it to November 5th. And I saw the original, made a copy of it. So, I don't know. In that case, I don't know what you want to do.
And this is the first case somebody's proved they legitimately did not get it.
Right.
I should go to the post office, can they tell us what stamps?
Yeah. All right, so nobody has any problem with waiting.
Yeah.
Late fee on that.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm okay with that.
I'll notify water and sewer tomorrow and I'll notify the minutes. We do have an executive session that I mentioned earlier today, but we also had 2 waivers of the rules. Or any objections to taking that first? Any objections to waiver of the rules? Hearing none, the first one is a resolution authorizing the hiring of 2 wastewater maintenance assistants at a rate of $22 per hour and 1 MEO at a rate of $20 an hour. And that's effective January 9th, 2022.
So, second.
Motion by Mike, second by Ron. And we had 4 people we interviewed. We could have hired all 4. We chose the top 3 to start out with. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 2 is a resolution authorizing the scheduling of a public hearing to consider a revised cost estimate for the improvements to Canada Farmington Water District for January 11th at 7 p.m. And that's a public hearing on what they call a 202B report that will be tied into the Canada Farmington Water District. That we share that with Town of Canandaigua. They'll have their own resolution, and they'll also set a public hearing. And takes a roll call vote.
So, pass it second.
That's the first thing we did.
Motion by Steve, second by Mike.
Supervisor Winston,
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman.
Aye.
Councilman Herndon.
Aye.
Councilman Sarah. Councilman Holt.
All right, thank you. Anything else we brought before this board before we go into executive session? Going once? Going twice? Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to go into executive session and talk about wages for the town employees. Any decisions will be in a resolution at our organizational meeting, January 4th, where we'll approve the wages at that time. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you. Motion is checked by Jay. Second by Mike. Happy New Year. All in favor? Yes, good New Year's.